today we will talk about the Tag Heuer Monaco Calibre 11. But before we can get into that, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so then you get all the notifications when we upload a new video, because new videos are coming. And now that the business is out of the way, let me talk to you guys a bit about this watch that I have in my hands. As I said, it's the Tag Heuer or Heuer Monaco. It's actually Tag Heuer, but as you can see, the dial also only says Heuer Monaco. It's Calibre 11 with the reference number CAW211P.FC6356. It's a pretty long reference number. The interesting thing about this watch is that this one is the exact copy, I mean as exact as a copy can be, of the first Monaco that was launched in 1969. Why it's called Calibre 11, there's a pretty cool story about it. This watch houses arguably the world's first automatic chronograph movement. Back in 1969, there was a bit of a competition between a few brands who will come out with the first automatic chronograph movement. One of the contestants were Zenith and their El Primero Calibre, which according to history came out, at least a prototype, in January 1969, winning the race. On the other hand, Chronomatic Group, a collaboration that's formed between brands such as Breitling, Buren, Hamilton, Heuer and Dubois de Prat, created a task force, so to speak, called the Project 99, and they were also working on the same movement, and they released theirs in March 1969. However, where the Zenith El Primero was an actual movement, the Project 99 released Calibre was a standard watch movement, and there was a chronograph module that was mounted on the watch. On the other hand, a bit far from Switzerland, on the other side of the world, Seiko was also working on their first automatic chronograph movement, which they called the 6139. And according to some sources, it dates as early as March, but we're really not sure about those dates. So according to history, the Zenith El Primero was the first movement, Swiss-made automatic chronograph movement. Then came the Chronomatic Group's Calibre 11, which this watch is housing, and then Seiko 6139, which is a Japanese-made automatic chronograph movement. But the watch is also famous, or actually it's probably more famous, because Steve McQueen, the king of cool, wore this watch, or the predecessor of this watch, the reference 1133B, in the movie Le Mans in 1971. So according to urban legend, Steve McQueen was offered a bunch of different watches and different brands to choose from by the prop master, and McQueen was drawn to the Omegas at first, but by that time they already agreed to put Heuer logos on the overalls as a sponsorship. So the prop master pointed out to him that it would look funny to have a Speedmaster or any other Omega on the wrist while the overalls have Heuer, so he had to, basically Omega was eliminated from the list, and then he went to the Heuers, and every Heuer looked pretty much the same. The case shape was similar, but this case was different. This watch was different. So Steve McQueen, being Steve McQueen and wanted to look different and stand out, he went for this watch. Despite that, both the watch and the movie were commercial failures in the beginning, but they developed a cult following, and over time they actually became pretty popular. So much so that Tag Heuer released their first reissue of the Tag Heuer, or of the Monaco, in 1997. And this year, 2019, marks the 50th anniversary of both the Calibre and the watch. So as I said, this watch, in terms of the looks, the size, the dial layout, looks as close to the original as possible to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Calibre inside, but also the birth of the Heuer Monaco. The watch case is 39 millimeters, it's a square case, so it's 39 millimeters every direction, and it has a thickness of about 14 millimeters, so it's relatively thick. This is obviously thanks to the crystal, which is pretty high, but also the case is thicker, since the Calibre 11 is a module that's built onto the movement, so it has to be thicker than an actual chronograph movement. The case itself is polished with vertical brushed square bezel, so you can see all the lugs and the bottom of the watch are polished, whereas the square bezel is brushed just like the side on both sides and part of the case back. At the time in 1969, this watch was the world's first square-cased water-resistant timepiece, and it has a water resistance of 100 meters. The crown is on the left side of the case, the chronograph pushers are on the right. This is a Calibre 11 feature, while the module is mounted on the movement. So actually the left side that controls the time and the hands is on the left, and the right side with the two pushers, which is connected to the module, is on the right side. You have this with Heuers as well as with Breitlings or Hamiltons, every model that uses the Calibre 11 inside. Both the crown and the pushers are polished. Pushers are, as you can see, pretty thick, flat pushers. The crown is polished and it has the vintage Heuer logo. So the watch has a sapphire crystal display case back, which lets you see the Calibre 11. Around the display window you can see a few details of the watch, like Swiss made, water resistant, 100 meters. The Monaco has a matte blue dial with wide subdials for the chronograph. Just below the 12 o'clock position you see the brand and the model name, Monaco and Heuer, with the old Heuer logo. And just at the 6 o'clock position you see the date window, and above it obviously automatic and chronograph highlight the features of the movement. The indexes are chromed just like the hands. For easier legibility, the hands have red tips as well as the chronograph hand, and you can see small red markers at each and every hour. Behind them there are lume dots as well as lume on the hands, so you can read the watch even in bad lighting conditions. Inside the watch we have the Calibre 11. This is a mechanical, automatic or manual wind movement with 40 hours of power reserve, 28,800 vibration per hour, which is a 4 Hertz movement. Through the display case back, you can see that it's a pretty nicely decorated movement. You have Côte de Genève or Geneva stripes on the rotor, and then you have pelage finish on the movement itself. The Monaco comes on a black perforated leather strap. This is a so-called racing strap, where the leather has small holes punched into it, which would allow your hand to air while you're driving or playing any kind of sports. This was done back in the day so the hand could breathe. It was either a bracelet or a leather strap. Bracelets are always cooler. Leather straps were a bit difficult to wear, especially in heat. Hence, you have the punched holes that let your hand air. The perforated leather strap comes on a Heuer folding clasp. This is a pretty cool feature. It has the Heuer logo on it, and there's two pushers on the side where you can open the strap and you can securely close it. So we would like to know, what do you guys think about the TAG Heuer Monaco Calibre 11? So please let us know in the comments below what you think, if you own this watch or perhaps another Heuer. Also let us know if you want to see something else from us. This was our overview of the TAG Heuer Monaco, but we're coming with more watches. So let us know which watch you would like to see us review in the future. And also don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you always get notifications whenever we upload a new content. And see you next time. Thank you.